FCR 247. You're live in the mix. I'm your host, Twizm White Peace, and today I've got one of those kind of interviews that's going to make you jump up out of your seat and get hyped with it because I've got the man who creates that kind of content. Not only is he an avid content creator, but this man is host and producer of one of the hottest shows I've ever seen, man. It's called NBA 2K TV, and of course, it's in connection with NBA 2K. What? My man, none other than Chris Manning, aka the Godfather of Lakers hype videos. How are you today, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I love that jersey you're rocking. Thanks so much for having me on.
Blessings, blessings. Thank you so much. And of course, man, I know in your world, man, of steadily creating content and whatnot, not only for the TV show but for the Lakers and everything, the hype videos and things like that. Taking the time out like this to just sit and meet with someone like me, man, that is truly, truly appreciated. And I know that some friends of mine put in a lot of effort, and I want to give them a shout out. And I'd like to have you acknowledge them too as well. I don't know if you got a chance to see the flyer,
I
the
did.
little okay. My man Ryan Chavez, he put that together, and he is just absolutely nasty with the graphics. But when I told him about, I told him you and the situation and everything like that, and then I told him about how much he was like a huge, Kobe Bryant thing. My man
Awesome.
said he had to really go in on that Kobe. He wanted to really make that thing stand out, and I think it worked out well, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been such a tough year for so many people, and it kind of feels like the challenges of this year really kicked off with the passing of Kobe. Was really tough for so many people, especially me. I've had an opportunity to inside and outside of 2K to work with Kobe, and I looked up to him. He was my hero, and it was just it's been such a tough loss. It's still kind of surreal to think about. But the beautiful thing behind it is that it's brought so much love and passion for the NBA, for basketball, for Kobe fans. The city of Los Angeles, has really come together in a year where it's so divisive. So, it's been tough, but I love Kobe. Always will. Favorite player of all time. No question.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, I noticed real quick, man. I went through the things. I had to write this down. You picked for your what was it? The 2K TV challenge. You had Walt, Kobe, and Magic.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you feel like that's a greatest of all time situation there, or what? Because two of
I
those are
mean,
shooting guards, if I'm correct, right?
yeah. We try to make it challenging when we have like the fans face off, and then we also put it on Hall of Fame difficulty, right? So that's already challenging enough. But then you have these great players that are just unstoppable. I think when you look at like the Lakers all-time team, when you look at like that starting five, I don't think there's any five, including the Dream Team, that could take those guys out. When you talk about, LeBron, Kobe, Magic, Shaq, Anthony Davis, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm biased, but that starting five is so unbelievable, so versatile, so powerful, so good.
I tell you what, I Anthony Davis. I tell you what, that he's a beast. That man is a beast. Just and he's so funny, man. He's so hysterically funny. Man. Like I've seen some of the behind the scenes things that they always post and stuff
Yeah.
like that. He's got such a great. He's funny, dude. I like him. He's a good dude. Of course, LeBron, man, flexing. King always flexes, right? Uh,
It was funny because when I first met AD, like as a fan, I was kind of like freaking out that we got him because like
yeah,
that was the guy that they wanted for a couple of years,
yeah,
and then when we got him, I was so on cloud nine. And then we did a thing at the launch of NBA 2K20 where we were doing the rating show, and so it was Alexis, it was Ronnie, myself, and then Anthony Davis joined us for that live stream, and at first we were talking. I was trying to keep my Laker, love down a little bit. And then he saw my phone and I had LeBron and Kobe on it. And he's like, "Oh, you're really a Laker fan." I said, You have no idea, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm a Laker fan. And it was cool because then we started talking basketball. Like he kind of opened up. He's like, "Oh, and he was just telling me things. And it was just it was such a fantastic moment. He's so chill and down to earth too. And
Nice.
then what he does on the court is just unbelievable,
Yeah.
he was so awesome in the playoffs. It was just the best.
A wingspan, man.
Yeah, man.
He just reaches out of thin air, man.
So yeah, it's so crazy, like what he can do as a player, how fast he is, you know.
Athleticism for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it comes from him being a point guard in high school, so it's kind of crazy.
I read that he shot up like, what was it, like almost like 10 inches like in one
Yeah.
summer or something like that.
Yeah. I think I went up like 3 inches in high school, but it wasn't AD numbers. But I felt happy for that. You know, it's crazy.
I'm a short guy. I'm 5'10". I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but because I'm so small, I was good with the defense. I was nasty with defense, right?
Yep.
But I always, for some reason, thought that I always thought I could take it in against the big guys.
Right.
And,
yeah, some of them are monsters. Some of them are monsters.
I'm definitely not Kyrie. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
All right. So let's see. Now you mentioned Alexis Morgan and Mike and all of them, and so let's take a moment, just real quick, give the shouts out to them, and you know what's all the roles and how did you come to snatch all these guys up and make a team, so to speak? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it was really cool. So Rachel Demita was the original host of 2K TV, and I was fortunate when I worked 7 years on the 2K publishing side as the NBA 2K community manager. So there would be times where they brought me on specifically to do esports segments because at the time I was really behind getting these tournaments going. What is now the 2K League, that was my passion, to kind of get esports infused in with NBA 2K when the time was right. From day one when I got there back in 2K11. So that was like a big passion of mine. So I had the opportunity to come on, and so I got to know the crew behind 2K TV and some of the producers, and you know, had a decorum with Rachel as well. And I really loved it. You know, it was a lot of fun. So what had happened was she had stepped down from the role, and they were looking for a new host. And at the time, I had left the 2K publishing side, and my wife and I were going to come and settle back down in Southern California. 2K is up in the Northern California near the Bay Area. And you know, we were looking at kind of being near our family and being near Staples Center, you know, to watch the Lakers and stuff. Yeah. So you know, I had my priorities in place. Turned down a couple opportunities down there, trying to find the right one, and got a call one day from the people at Visual Concepts, and they were interested in talking. And I kind of had a weird feeling when Rachel left. I was like, I wonder if, you know, they'd call me in. My wife and I kind of joked one night, we're like, nah, that would never happen, you know? Yeah. And so anyway, they reached out, and at first I was actually in a job interview, like down the stretch with a company down south. And so I was literally in like one of the final interviews when I got the voicemail. So I didn't hear it till later that night. So this was on a Wednesday. So on Thursday, I talked to my family, and I was like, hey, you know, Visual Concepts called, but I didn't want to be disingenuous and go into a conversation with them if I was like so close to landing something else. On Friday, you know, the president of Visual Concepts emailed me, and he's like, let's talk. And so I had to take that call right away. And, you know, from the moment that we connected to potentially bring me back on the concept side, it was just an unbelievable conversation, hit on all the right things. We were aligned in our vision of what we wanted to do with the show. And so that was like great. It was like such a Cloud9 moment to come back and to be working with the community again, but directly with the community and making content about the community, like as opposed to, you know, marketing material. So I was pretty stoked about that opportunity. And then when I got back, one of the first things I told my boss, when I told him I was coming back, I said, hey, I don't want this to be the Chris Manning show. You know, I want to have like a co-host. Yeah. And immediately he said, that's great. We have somebody we think would be really great with you. And they told me it was Alexis. And I was just so excited because I had seen her stuff with Slam, and Alexis and I didn't talk much, but we had communicated over the years, and she was just so passionate and awesome at what she does. She worked with another talented person I know from back in the Laker days, Amara, who is now the social person for the Portland Trailblazers. Shout out to Amara. So I had watched a ton of her stuff, and I was really excited to get to know her. And from day one, it was like we had chemistry, came in, same goals in mind, perfect kind of co-host for me. And she was just so great with the NBA players and so many people, you know. So for me, it was like you have like the 2K stuff, and then you have like the NBA person. And I always joke with her. I'm like, with her 2K knowledge and my good looks, it's a perfect pairing, right? So you know, from day one, we kind of had that chemistry that I was really excited about. You know, it was just comfortable, snapped right into place, and we were off and running. And we actually met for the first time in person at All Star when we announced it. So it was like we announced it, we shot her, she was announced the next week. So it was like during All Star weekend, we're hanging out with like NBA fans, players, all that stuff. We did the My Team Unlimited tournament down there, and it was just like such a great experience, you know. And like the first stuff we're shooting together is like going and doing All Star event stuff, which was kind of fun, and
Cool.
you know, just crazy stuff like that. So yeah, it's been awesome, and we're already joining such a fantastic team that have worked together through the years. Like between our editors, our producers, the people that work on the show, you know, it's a weekly show. I'm just so proud of the team, and they kind of accepted us and you know, allowed us to come in and really bring our flavor to the show, and also, you know, change up the content a little bit and get it moving quicker, and like really making it about the community and making people who play 2K or have that shared passion for 2K the stars of the show. And that's kind of our goal.
Awesome. I tell you what, I've been rocking with it since 2000, 2K19, and
Awesome.
I love the progression. I've watched it grow so amazingly, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the intrigue. That you know, that was like, you know what, like this is a guy who knows what he's doing. This is a guy that's gonna, like, I was intrigued and interested in how you kept making it better, making it better, making it better. And now it's almost as if 2K TV is the really good part of it. You know what
Yeah,
I
it's
mean?
it's really cool because I remember growing up as a kid, and like we don't have like NBA inside stuff anymore like it used to be, you know. And I feel like I looked up to people like Ahmad Rashad, you know, like all those
Yes.
like 90s generation people that when I was growing up, and how much basketball meant to me and influenced me. Like literally my entire life is basketball, personal and professionally. So
Yes.
that impact that people like him made, I've really, you know, tried to bring that forward to a new generation of people. And now, you know, we're seeing people that are, you know, so young get into 2K, and for them to be able to not only enjoy the game they love, but also opt into a show that brings their favorite players, their own community, the shared passion for 2K in general, is a really great thing, you know, to work on. It's just it really makes me happy, and
Yeah.
we have a great team. I can't thank our entire team enough, you know.
Yeah. When your job and your passion are the same thing, right? You know
Yeah,
what I
it's really, you know. And I'm really an example of like hard work with our team is I'm really proud of them because, you know, this, like I mentioned at the top of the show, this year's been such a challenging year for so many people. My thoughts and prayers are out with everybody going through this pandemic. um you know, we had an option, like many other shows, to kind of shut down and reevaluate what we were doing. We were able to immediately go to home, get all the equipment in as we were producing the show, and keep rolling through. I mean, it was our dedication, determination, passion to make sure that, you know, during these tough times for our 2K fans, that we're going to keep producing content for them to look forward to on a weekly basis. And I'm just, you know, it's been such a interesting year in terms of, you know, how people are now in this internet age. But I'm really proud of everybody for being able to adapt so quickly and continue to roll through this pandemic, and at least give a weekly bright spot to people, you know, that are at home and playing 2K and looking forward to basketball content. You know, we've been able to do that all year. So it's been a long 2K TV season, but, you know, we're really proud of that.
I'll say like this, you know, more than just basketball content for me, it was more than
Yeah.
just basketball content for me personally. I was able to spend my lockdown, and we're still in lockdown. We're
Right.
currently in full lockdown, right?
Mhm.
Can't leave the house, kind of thing, and the whole nine yards. So, like, for me to be able to, you know, take moments out, because I have the 5 kids that are in the online school. So my majority of my days, it's either cleaning the house, it's either getting this kid understood that or this kid, and then I
Yeah.
have an autistic son, so that adds in a little bit of factor too. So my downtime or my moments of zen, so to speak, is literally 2K TV. So I mean, like,
Awesome.
I kid you not, like you've helped me get through what may have been the hardest part, and that's not having any way to chill and just
Right.
focus on something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With everything going on, it was nice to be able to focus on something else. And on a side note, man, really great job with the whole equality and justice and the Black Lives Matter. And
Yes.
I woke up, I turned my game on, and I said, oh, this is now that's how you use a platform and use it for the better. I mean, I used to be a
Absolutely.
really bad guy, so I'm living my second chance, right? I'm living my second opportunity, and so I value and I put high priority on bettering life because I spent so long taking away from life. So now that I'm bettering life, like I love that. That was probably one of the best mornings that I had in a long time. Waking up and seeing that and seeing people being able to share and wear all the same jerseys. We was a whole squad of us that all had the same justice and equality, and
Yeah.
it made me feel like I was a part of something, and that's 2K TV, and
Yeah,
that's 2K TV.
and I'm proud of that too. Partnering with LeBron and Uninterrupted and
Oh,
bringing on people.
yeah.
And one thing I've learned through this year is if you're not speaking up and you're not trying to make change for the better, the thing that I learned is help amplify others that are doing that. And I think the best thing about 2K TV is that we amplified the message on voting, we're amplifying the message on social justice. And for me, as a producer of the show, that's the most important thing, right? It's like you let help amplify the message for better. And that's the approach that I've taken. I'm really proud of that partnership too, because
Yes.
LeBron is just doing so many great things for social justice and has such a monumental voice. He was just named the Times Person of the Year, and it's the vision of amplifying that message through platforms like you said, like 2K TV, that really takes it to another level, and that's why he's doing so many great things. So I'm proud of that one too, and we're behind all the Black Lives Matter movement,
Oh, yeah, man.
messaging, everything, man.
That's out to Trey Young too, man. Trey Young
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah.
He brought through a message, man. Let me tell you, I
Yeah,
loved it.
Trey is great, and we just had
Yeah,
Mello on the last episode.
I just seen
Read
that
a
one.
letter.
Yep, I
Yeah,
just watched that one the other
it's
day. Yep.
powerful stuff, man. I mean, these
I,
guys care about this.
I'm be honest with you. I'm a little biased about the last episode. Hands down. Definitely with the uninterrupted and the messages that are being brought. But you had you had my icon. You had my icon on the show. I was a little jealous of Alexis Morgan there getting to try to rap with Shaq because
Right.
that's number two on my list of dreams to fulfill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Shaq's the best, man. He's just he's such a friend to 2K as a whole, and has been on 2K TV pretty much I think annually since
Every
it started. So
yeah.
he's just fantastic, and yeah, he Alexis was so great in that interview. I always tell her she does such
It
a
was
fantastic job.
hysterically funny. I loved it. I loved it. That was hands down one of the best interviews on
Yeah,
the TV show to
it was
date. Yeah.
fantastic. It was so great.
Little side note though, like Shaq. Now, when I say that Shaq's my icon, like I'm being
Mhm.
really serious with this. Like the only one above him would be Will Smith, and that's just because I'm a child of the '90s and 2000s. I grew up with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff. So I mean, don't get me there. I'm a sucker for Will Smith comedy and stuff. But
There you go.
Shaq was number two because at the same time that I was growing up with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I was also growing up with Shaq. And I'm talking about from Blue Chips all the way through Orlando Magic to the Genie movies to all the way on through. Okay. And in fact, my stage name is Twizm Whyte Piece, with the Twizm part being taken after Shaq's clothing line with TWISM back in the day.
Ah, okay.
And so my name is TWIZM,
I love
little
it.
twist on it, but with the same concept that, this world is that this is my world. I'm a take yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I'm serious when I say Shaq was like the same way you are about Kobe, man. I'm that's how Shaq is to me. Like,
It's funny because people often think my name, LD2K is a moniker for 2K, but
yeah,
I actually created back in
you
1999.
vouch. Yeah,
Yeah, Lakers Dynasty 2000, because when we got Phil Jackson at the time, I wanted to be a journalist, and
yeah,
I was like, I need like a pen name, like
yeah,
I need something that's not just my name. Because
yeah,
back in '99, I was in middle school. I thought that was cool, so I was like, LD2K sounds cool. Yeah, let's roll with that. 2K was like
yeah.
the thing back in '99, but like it's funny because that always stuck with me through the years. But it's funny because so many fans think like the LD2K part is ironically because of 2K, nothing to do with
Spoke it
2K.
into existence or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right. It's like,
So, a
yeah,
little
it's
funny
crazy.
stories. Before I did this interview, before I jumped on this interview, I looked at my wife and I said, "Look, I'm going to speak this into an interview. I'm going to speak this into existence. Chris Manning, Shaquille O'Neal." I said, like it's one of those things. Like you never know until you get to look back, right? And then
Right,
you look back and you're like, "Wow, if this hadn't happened, or if that door hadn't opened, or if I hadn't made that
absolutely.
decision." So I congratulate you on picking up that phone call and talking and carrying on and not saying, well, I've already got this lined up, so I think I'm going to go with this. I'm really glad that you took took the opportunity to create something amazing. That's you've done a good
Yeah,
job.
it was amazing. The support that I've had on the development side coming back has just been truly special to me. Like I don't think they understand how much that means to me. So, um, you have a very vocal community when it comes to 2K and stuff, but I will say the developers are some of the most talented in the world, and
Yeah.
the game is always being worked on and improved and stuff. But we really have some great people on this side, and it's been really like an honor to come and represent this game that I love. I mean, I've literally been playing it since the Dreamcast days. It's like
Yeah.
I grew up with it,
Yes.
so it's
So
it's it's
I gotta
cool.
know real quick. I'm
Yeah.
37. You must be like 33, 34, 35,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, I knew it because you're literally saying everything that is like I'm having flashbacks. Like, oh
Right,
no.
right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And like I said, you kind of you take your passion for something and then you're like you have this opportunity, and it's like how are you gonna perform in this role? It's not something that I took lightly. I had to really think about, do I want to come back and kind of be in the spotlight again, the public spotlight? Do you want to kind of live that life, that career? What does that mean for your future? Where do you want to be? And really it's been awesome to create a platform, and that's kind of what I look at 2K TV as, and we have so many people that tune in, that I'm so appreciative for. But yeah, it's creating a platform for people. And like I said, this is weekly content that covers so many areas of basketball culture, the
Life,
NBA,
music, news, fashion. Yeah,
yeah,
man. Yeah,
fashion, hip hop
yeah.
artists, you know what I mean, musicians. It's like we really try to get as much in there that makes sense as possible. And then the people are the stars. It's like these amazing 2K players, these amazing people that are doing things in the game. I interviewed a teacher over the Thanksgiving, and he used his class and his education. He put 2K badges, which
I've
kind
seen
of
this.
determined that was so cool. I was like, we have to get you on the show, and
Yes,
luckily we were,
yes.
we were able to. And he went to Anthony Davis's high school, his alma mater.
Oh,
So it's just like it's so cool. Everything connects like that. It's just
yeah.
it's just cool to talk to people and hear those stories.
Shouts out to two of my favorite, man. Is Sub the Gamer and Champ.
Hey, there
Those
you go.
those two right there, boy. I'd say class. They're classy. I like that. I see some of these gamers out here that are just the whole way through. They're talking trash. They're it's f this and son of
Yeah,
it's just everything. And then you have those ones that actually take it like it's the real way. And
yeah,
oh God, I absorb it. I love it. I soak it up. I try to, I don't want to say that I'm amazing at the game because if I was, I'd be on pro am teams and stuff like that, and
yeah, yeah.
the championship would be mine, things like that, so on and so forth. But I will say that I can hold my own, right? And I tell you, man, these guys, they make me wish I could step my game up, man. Let me tell you. But I mean,
I played against pro players, for example,
yeah,
and I feel the same way. It's like I can hold my own at 2K. I will probably torch a lot of people out there. They think I
yeah,
don't play and stuff. I've been playing since day one. I will torch
yes,
people.
you got this down.
Some of these pro players are insanely
Yes,
talented, and they are
and with the
so
new
much better than the next person. It's crazy.
with the new dribbling system,
Yeah,
oh man, like you could really, and
yeah,
like so that's what I've been working on a lot in 21 is I've been learning the new the handles,
the
man. I'm
handles.
really like
Yeah,
flexing with those handles, right? So
yeah,
and of course like I really like I play a lot, so I'm at like 78% of superstar status 2 or something like that. The
nice.
circle and the star.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like I analyze other players, right? So I'll be up in the rec room and within like a minute, like within 30 seconds of gameplay, I'll be like, okay, you gotta go. You need to go. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm over here trying to play a game and you over here like it's playground and stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I always tell people it's funny with the rec because it's like we get a lot of complaints of not going in with like for other people.
Yeah,
And a lot of these guys, they would never go on the park without two other people.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's weird to me that they get upset when you like go up against a full team, but then
Because
they don't want AIs, but it's like you want to incentivize people to play. So it's always like a struggle to see how, the
yeah,
developers have to tackle that. I mean, they have a lot of hard decisions to make and they look at feedback. Sometimes feedback contradicts each other. And
yeah,
going back to your point about, like sub and champ, it's great to talk to them. We've had them on in the past 2 seasons, and it's I always look at the community, like some community managers out there really struggle like mentally with how to handle negative feedback in people in
yeah,
the community. Like to me, that was never a problem. I always look at it as everybody's sharing the same passion. Some people just don't know how to convey that passion
yeah.
as
There's some,
well as others, right?
yeah, yeah,
Then you
yeah,
have people that want to be entertainers and are
yeah,
fantastic entertainers. Then you want people that want to like make the game better.
yeah, yeah,
So you really have to just kind of like place opinions and feedbacks into subset groups, and
yeah.
then you can start to organize it. I've always looked at it that way, and I learned a lot in years as a community manager. So when I really love now being able to just work directly with the community. Like I can't say that enough. I had so many
Yeah.
fantastic opportunities on the marketing side, but like really now it's just so satisfying to create content and to work with and alongside the community. It's like they are our content, and that's what's so unique about this position.
Yeah. Oh man, like I said, like it's and that was one of the reasons why I started the radio station, right? Because
Mhm.
back when I started this radio station, it was kind of a little bit streaming, like streaming video and things like this. It was
Yeah.
still in its early stages, so there wasn't as great of platforms. It wasn't as easy to do, so on and so forth. But one of the things that was really just kicking off was the internet radio stations, and so I was like, you know what, I can. I'm an entertainer. Like I can. I do that. That's my thing,
Yeah, I
right?
love
And
it.
I'm a Gemini, right? You know what I'm saying? So uh, I said, this is something that I can use, and at the same time, I can give people platforms and opportunities to be able to improve the world. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And if it brings people together and they improve themselves while being a part of trying to improve this together, then that's that's where it's at. I would rather change one person's life than
Yep.
to entertain a million. I don't know if
Great.
that makes sense
No, it
because
does. It absolutely does. Yeah. It's
so
about connecting people. I mean, at the
yeah,
end of the day, basketball connects us all.
yes,
Basketball connects us through so much bullshit in the world. And that's
boy,
what I've always I know this, you know what I mean? And it's like if you understand that, then you can really start to connect with people on
yeah,
what you do when you're working around basketball. And that's a special thing. And I think I'm really proud of the NBA for how much they get
yes,
involved in stuff.
growth,
And
yes,
it's like I feel like same with 2K. I'm really proud of the company for getting involved, especially in such a challenging, diverse year.
yeah, yeah.
Getting involved in all the movements.
I love being a part of it and in what ways that I can be a part of the 2K community. I mean, obviously there are, there are some really serious in-depth people, and to them I salute, because they are the ones that are paving the way for the rest of
Yeah.
us to be
Yeah.
able to be a part and to be associated and to have have the fun and have the community. And I get on here, and I haven't in a while shared some of the good plays and stuff, but
Yeah.
I kid you not, I'll get on Twitter just to look up NBA 2K TV Wow, or
Yeah.
2K TV
Yeah.
Wow, and scroll through, just because I want to see where's it at,
Crazy.
man? Because when I get into the rec room, I don't see much talent, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
want to see who's got what talent, because if I find you one day, if I come across you one day, I want to know, because you and me, we're gonna have a good game. And
Yeah.
that's where it's at, right? That's
Yeah,
you
man.
connecting
I'm
over the
always
game.
I'm always on the rec. That's me and my, everybody kind of has their things they love. My friends and I, we love we have like a 3-game limit, or we lose our minds, right? We'll get mad. Try to win. If we're having a bad night, we're out after 3 games. If we're having a good night, we're rolling, we'll keep going through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We have
Hey,
bad nights, we lose. I throw some controllers sometimes. I'm like
you feel?
everybody else, you know?
Look, I'm on my third controller. I'm on my third controller in 2 months. Third controller in
I,
two
I,
months,
I
bro.
promised myself no PS5 controllers will be thrown, but we'll see how that goes.
I'm like,
No, I mean, but you just get so into it, and it's
yeah,
right now it's like a way to connecting with people through the lockdown orders, and
yeah,
being at home, and I can't hang out with my friends in person right now, unfortunately, and that's really challenging. So it's like
right,
we'll get online and hang out on that virtual couch and play some
yeah.
2K, connect in parties, and it's like all of a sudden, it helps bring normalcy to life, and that's important too for people's mental health, for
And
sure.
that's the thing right there. So like you was just saying, like, have a couple of bad games. I'll switch over to Call of Duty. Okay, I'll just
Right.
go play Call of Duty real quick. But if I'm really feeling it, I'm really in the zone, man. Somebody will get up in the middle of the night to go bathroom. It'll be 3, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and I'm still ripping and running. Like, yo, just one more, two more. Give me
I
one
know
more,
it,
two more.
it it's so you'll go and do other things and play other games, and it's just like
Yep,
everybody else. You always come back to basketball. You always
yep.
come back and you're ready to
And I
roll. And
stay in the rec. I stay in the rec
right,
like you. I feel like, because see, I used to play basketball as a kid.
right,
So I feel like, since I can't be, and when I'm not on COVID lockdown, I'm outside playing basketball anyways.
right.
So like, I'm even teaching my kids now how to play basketball. So this is a way to fill the void for me. So when I go to the rec room, I'm trying to play a real game, right? And again, there comes the frustration of those play babies who come in there
Right,
on a screw.
right.
I won't even play, man.
You
I'm
got to get a
hanging.
squad. You got to get a squad. That's the best way to do
Oh
it.
yeah, I wish. I wish.
We
I
gotta
must
start
not be
getting some.
good
We
enough.
gotta
I
start getting
must
some
not be good
players.
enough, man.
Nah. You'll have to come roll with me one time. We'll fix
Anytime,
it.
bro. You.
All right,
Hey, look.
we'll do it.
I'm my defense. I'm all about my defense, bro.
All right,
So I'm not good with the shooting, bro. I ain't gonna lie,
that's all
but
right. We can score. I can score. So
I see your
yeah.
I see.
I'm
I
always
see.
trying to score. I'm a scorer. My guys, my teammates
Cool.
always they kind of give me some flack for my shot attempts per game. I always
So
usually
I'd rather take 20, 30 assists
take
on
yeah.
your 15 for 40 than, you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so now I wanna chat real quick, man, because I noticed you feature a lot of the WNBA, and of course Candace
Yeah.
Parker, man, one of my all-time favorites as far as the WNBA goes. You know
Same.
what I mean? I think she was as equally talented, if not more talented, than some of the male superstars. You feel what I'm saying? So
Oh, she's
um,
amazing.
yeah. So, what's it like to be able to interconnect not only the NBA, but the WNBA and the G League? And now, in some instances, you're even starting to incorporate the colleges and things like that. How does that,
Yeah.
how does that, how does that tie in? How do you keep expanding that? How do you work within the boundaries of keeping it the game, but at the same time, so many hands and feelers out there with support. You know what I mean? That's stretching thin, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
man. I mean, our teams. There's so many people that work on NBA 2K, and for me, I've been vocal about getting the WNBA in 2K for many years.
nice.
I think, you know, I you mentioned you have kids. Do you have a daughter?
Yeah, I got four of those. I got
All
four of
right.
those.
So if they can look up to somebody like Candace Parker,
Yeah.
that's gonna entice hope in them. And looking up to people in the WNBA, um, there's always something special about young kids looking up to basketball players, and I think that it's our duty to have the WNBA in because it is a part of basketball, and you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of negative comments about women playing basketball, but we are going to uh, make sure that that's a part of NBA 2K because NBA 2K is more than just basketball at this point. It's culture, it's
Yeah.
women, it's social justice. There's just so many facets to it, and we have, like I mentioned, we have such an amazing team. So to be able to work with not only the NBA players but a lot of the WNBA players and bringing them on the show, it's just been fantastic. Like it's to see Brianna Stewart on 2K TV for me, like as a basketball nerd, I just geek out, So it's fantastic to get their involvement in many things, and also just how awesome it is to play that with the WNBA players in 2K. I mean, if you play, it feels like an authentic WNBA game, and that's what's so
And even the
it's so
coaching,
amazing.
the style
Mm-hmm.
of coaching and everything like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. And I think just to go back to your point about college and WNBA and the G League, it's like this is all what is around the
Actual basketball.
NBA.
It's
Yeah,
actually
this
real. Yeah, that's really what
yeah.
it is.
And
Yeah.
like in next gen, which we launched recently, you can go 4 years in college. If you want to play 4 years
Yeah.
in college, you can go to the
Yep.
G League.
Yeah.
If you want to, so it's stuff like that where I think it's the authenticity factor. 2K has always been about basketball authenticity, and WNBA, G League, all that stuff falls right in the authentic
But it
experience.
also showcases unity, right? Because you're
Yeah,
no longer saying, "Well,
absolutely.
that's for them. This is for them."
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is for everybody. Come on,
absolutely.
everybody. Let's do this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah. I
equality is
love that.
important.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I love that. All right. Speaking of another guy that, or another individual, I should say that I have high respect for, Michael K. Williams, man. Now that
Yeah.
guy, I've watched him from the wire all the way up. I've watched him go just wow, and then to use his voice in the way that he does for different different whatever support he's lending it to at that time, that it makes me like him even more. So when you got people like Michael K, and like you was talking about Carmelo Anthony and people like this, what's it like to be in the middle of that? I mean, some people say, oh, if only I could, or oh, I wish I could, or wow, if I ever get to. But you you
Yeah.
kind of you kind of live this every day. So how does that how does that make you feel? How does that tie into your day of waking up with a smile? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool, man. There's so many people that have a shared passion for 2K, and then what our my career teams have been able to do, from everybody that's worked on the mode to the marketing to the talent acquisition. It's like, I remember like when we got Spike Lee back in 2K16. That it's just like it's stuff like that that makes you kind of step back. Having so many celebrities involved with 2K, it really has become a cultural phenomenon in that sense where you're getting people like Rosario Dawson, who just
Yeah.
appeared in The Mandalorian as, oh, I don't know if I should say spoilers, but
Uh,
you have like all these talented actors that get involved, and for me, like as a fan, it's like again, it's like a Cloud9 moment. It's so great every year to see who they're casting in my career. And it's just like it's kind of surreal, and it's cool to talk to. We just our last episode, 2 episodes ago, we just talked to all the people that were involved in
all the
all the mic
actors.
careers
Yeah.
over the year.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Yeah.
most fun interviews I've ever done because they're
Yeah.
they're like me, where they're like freaking out at working
Yeah.
with all this talent, and it's
Yeah.
it's cool to kind of have that sense of relatability
Yeah.
with
Exactly.
these actors, and again, I always look at 2K TV as it's a shared passion for everybody that gets involved, and if you can connect through 2K, which so many people do, all these wonderful things can happen, and you really it's surreal sometimes to
Yeah.
see who are um, yeah, it's wild, man. It's
Yeah.
wild, and I'm sure it's not going to slow down over the coming years. I'm sure we're gonna get more people involved in these amazing stories that people can play through.
Oh, I'm calling it. I'm calling it. 2K22 is gonna be VR. It's gonna be. I'm
Right.
serious. Well, let me go ahead and throw that oop to AD because I mean like go ahead AD, go ahead take that in for me. You know what I mean? Because this is one of those times where the technology is so
Yeah.
wow. I mean, I was
Yeah.
watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and I think it's really great. That what do they call them? The emotes or whatever, the guys that do the dancing and
The
stuff. I was really
dances.
digging
Yeah.
that one. I was digging that episode because you get to see the parts of the creation, the parts of the stuff that you don't even think about. You don't even think about that stuff when you watching or
No.
playing or absorbing the content. You just like, okay, this is what I get this week. But then you get to see stuff like the behind the scenes, and you're like, wow, man, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of
Oh
technical
yeah.
stuff.
In
Like,
our mocap teams bring in some of the best dunkers,
oh,
dancers,
yes.
shooters, dribblers. It's like a year-round thing. Obviously, with COVID and this year, it's been really challenging. I mean, really, the team made the next gen game from home. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
no,
like
that's crazy right
it
there.
it it, it blows my mind. But they're such great communicators, and the developers are so good at keeping in contact. Uh, so it's like, yeah, they're working from another location, but they're still operating the same way. And I
But
for developers across the industry, a lot of respect for bringing this form of entertainment to people when they need it
yeah,
in this industry. And that's kind of going back to 2K TV. It's like, we could have stopped and said, okay, how are we going to reevaluate the show? But we decided we're going to roll through this. We're going to adapt, and we're going to bring a form of entertainment to people that play our game because they're home. They need something to look forward to, and that was like I'm really proud of that. Especially being back, that would be one of the top things I'm proud about because people need stuff to look forward to. Again, the mental well-being of people is important. It's really important, and I can't say that enough. I tweet a lot about it, but you never know what the next person is going through. So be kind, and especially right now, kindness is a good thing.
so a lot of people, especially a lot of and a lot of rappers, a lot of indie rappers, because that's what
Mhm.
I am. I'm an indie rapper. So a lot of these guys, they always talk about music, 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 and
Sure.
they fail to realize that our job, if we're trying to be a serious, iconic rapper or an entertainer or whatever the case may be, our job
Mhm.
is to establish your name and then use that and leverage that to be able to uplift and inspire and motivate and make it so that the next generation coming in is absorbing the right kind of stuff and not
Yes.
the wrong kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So like it's really good thing to see people like I always my thing is I try to do little motivational posts. Now, I won't so much go out there on a political talk all the time because
Hmm.
you know, politics is an individual thing, right?
Sure.
But there's a certain universal concept of unity, love, compassion, brotherhood, strength, uplifting,
Hmm.
inspiring. This is all common sense. This is part of the energy of the world. So
Hmm.
it's universal across the board. So that's the kind of stuff that I like to like. I stick to motivational posts and creating, content that is worthwhile.
Yep.
You know, I don't know
Well,
if that
well said. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Well said.
So, all right. So, we got, looks like about, 15, 20 minutes left, man. We've talked about a lot of it. Trey Young with the uninterrupted, Michael Champs. We got all this. Now, I kind of just want to get a little bit of the background about you, man. Where was you born at? How was you, what did you do growing up? Like,
Yeah.
was you a basketball player yourself, or did you
Yeah.
have the blogging? I know there was the blogging there for a little while.
Yeah, man. I mean, really, I've been diabetic since I was 8 years old. So I had to quickly learn to be responsible, and my life was already challenging, a lot more so than a lot of my peers. So
Yeah.
I grew up real quick, and going through that, I didn't have many escapes. I was injecting needles into my arm every to give insulin every day. And back then, you didn't have things like insulin pumps where you had to give 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots a day, and that sucks when you're a little kid and you have to do that to live, and you can't eat candy and you can't eat bad. And so I really, from day one, I took my health seriously, and I really tried to take as good of care of myself as I can. But basketball was always my escape from everything. It was the only thing in the world that, for me, I could step back and say, I'm not diabetic when I'm playing basketball. I don't think about my diet. Just completely erased it. So, you know, I've always been a Laker fan. I wanted to be a journalist growing up. And then when I was like 12, 13, I did my first Laker video. 2000 Western Conference Finals when you know, Shaq caught the lob from Kobe, the iconic 15 fourth quarter comeback. I was lucky enough to be at that game.
No way.
And so that was my
No
first
way.
that was my first Laker video I did. And I always kind of said, if I could just encapsulate that energy that I felt for a fraction, like a fraction of a second, and share that back with the world in my videos, then I have something here. So I got into Laker videos just as a passion, and I kind of kept doing it for almost, you know, 2 decades now. But I love it. You know, Lakers are my passion in life. Did Laker Nation growing up, met a lot of great people there. You know, I told you before we started, like I always try to pay it forward to people that are trying to do good things, and a lot of people help me out on my way, and I'm very, you know, grateful to all those people, and I try to pay it forward with people. I think that's really important. So just bringing good vibes and good energy, and you know, being a Lakers / basketball fan, I've had opportunities to, you know, work for Kobe Bryant's marketing company back in the day. Obviously, all my work with 2K, the Laker Nation days, even though that was like a span of 4 years, about 2007 to about 2011, 4 or 5 years, it was like some of the best times of my life. You know, it still feels like that was longer sometimes than even my tenure at 2K, just because it was just such a passion project. So it's like, you know, I don't know. I just try to do things I'm really passionate about, and usually that's around basketball. I've been very fortunate to have some great opportunities in my career to do amazing things, and to try to knock things off the bucket list. And you know, I try to help people, and I try to showcase my passion with wherever I go, and that's really brought me to a lot of really wonderful places in my life that I'm, you know, extremely grateful for.
Nice. All right,
that's a condensed version. You know,
we skipped over a lot, but that's
yeah.
All right, so quick 2 questions. One, what is the single most spectacular 2K TV moment for you? And then 2, what is the single most spectacular I want to say Kobe Bryant memory, but let's expand it to just all of the NBA, any player, but you know, I'm pretty much gonna rock with Kobe, but you know, go ahead.
Most significant 2K TV moment for me was actually when I returned. So they kept it quiet. We had, you know, I had signed back on, and it was about a month, maybe a couple weeks before All-Star weekend. And so we had this idea and this plan to announce me on the My Team Unlimited stream at All-Star weekend. And I usually don't get nervous about stuff. I'm pretty even keel with stuff, you know, don't get too high, don't get too low, just stay right in the middle. I was shaking before I had to go back on, because I didn't know how the reception was going to be, you know, like I knew people missed me and wanted me back and stuff, but you don't really know until you get into it. So you know, it was like Ronnie was there, and we had this plan and how he's going to introduce me, and then of course I come out on the live stream and I'm announcing it, and Ronnie completely forgets his lines, and I'm like, something's never changed. So I'm sitting there like, all right, I'll take over. So I just had to go on the fly and be like, okay, hey, guess what, I'm back. And the reception, I remember the live stream numbers spiked when I came on, because I had tweeted like, hey, you might want to tune in for this, and a bunch of people were really excited about that. And it was just such an amazing moment for me. I was so nervous in that moment. The one time I've been nervous on 2K TV was when I announced I was coming back on a live stream. I don't know why. I was just like, I had a bunch of emotion. And then after that, it's like, I just picked up this energy, and it was like, we just rolled through, and everything from there has been just fantastic. So I'd have to say that was like the memory of announcing I was back, and, you know, being back with something I'm so passionate and I love so much, was a really cool opportunity. Next question. So best Kobe moment for me, I've had the opportunity to see Kobe, and I watched every game he ever played. I have a photogenic memory of Kobe over the years doing all the videos. If you show me a picture of Kobe, I can tell you what year it is,
Game, day, the
almost
time.
what game, what the story was
Yeah.
behind it, like literally photographic memory of every
Right.
game.
Yeah.
I would say the best moment was when he announced that he was retiring. I got tickets for my dad and I, and we actually ended up going to his final game. And that game was special because you've had moments in your career where you're rooting for him, you were really pissed off as a Laker fan, you were exuberant as a Laker fan, you were nervous as a Laker fan, right? All these amazing moments, the playoff fights, that last game was all of that rolled into one. So all that emotion over 20 years. And I tell people this all the time, how many people can you honestly say you grew up with, multiple times a week hung out with, watching them, rooting for them 20 straight years? Like, you don't even do that with family members sometimes. And it's
Wow.
so what Kobe meant to the city of Los Angeles and so many people was special. And like that last game, I'm getting the chills thinking about it. I'll never forget the emotion and just the incredible energy around that 60-point game. That was the best Kobe moment by far. And I've seen championships won. I've seen his greatest performances. I've seen unbelievable. Like, I've seen it all. Like, that was the best moment for me by far. But nothing will ever top that because it was just so special that night. So I'd have to give that. NBA moments. I mean, as a Laker fan, it's gonna be,
Championship. Yeah. Wasn't it
it,
your
it,
birthday or something too? Like when they won that this year?
no, this year Game 7 would have been on my birthday, so
Oh,
they
okay.
won it. They
Okay.
won, in 6. But
Right.
like
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
7 would have been on my birthday. I was hoping that wouldn't happen, so I'm glad they got it done in 6. But yeah, I mean that was a perfect birthday present. But I'd have to say, my favorite basketball moment as a Laker fan was the 2010 championship. Boston, the stars that they had, how good that team was, the
Yeah.
fact that they
Paul
beat us in
Pierce.
08. Yep, all the trash talking.
Yes.
That 2010 championship that playoff run felt the the level of intensity throughout was like, I don't think that'll ever be matched, and I don't think I will ever love or. And I loved this year's team. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but that 2010 championship run, what Kobe was able to do injured now that we know, like, um, that was it for me, man. Beating Boston was like number one, and it felt so damn good to beat Boston that year. So good. So yeah, that has to
That's
be
great.
that has to be my favorite NBA. Like, when I look back and I'm like, what made the most impact on my life? That 2010 championship for sure, no doubt.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, just a few minutes left, man. 7 minutes. Let's go ahead and give yourself, that message that you want people to really know right now. Because if there's one thing that we want to be remembered for, we want to be remembered for our legacy. So, what is part of your legacy that you want to leave behind for motivation?
I hope when people look back at my body of work, I hope they understand you might not be the smartest person in the room. You might not have the most opportunities as other people. You might not come from a background that will give you clear opportunities, but working hard and following your passion. I had a person who's really influential in my life once tell me, you have to do what you have to do before you do what you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I really took that to heart. I'm stubborn as hell. Like, one thing about me that you'll realize is I am stubborn, man. Like, you have to pull me off to really pull me off an idea. And I've learned patience over the years, but for me, it's about passion. I've said that throughout my entire career. You got to be passionate about what you do, and everything will fall in line. You will find a way to succeed. You will fail over and over. Everybody has. I actually have always welcomed failure in my life because it's given me opportunity to succeed. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of failure. Fail and fail and fail again, because you're going to succeed if you keep going and you're passionate and you follow that road. And number two, it's just to treat people with respect and dignity that you would want to be treated with.
That's
There's a lot of bad people out there,
nice. Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that are narcissistic. There's a lot of people that are
Two-face.
selfish. There's a
Two-face.
lot
They
of, yeah,
present one thing and then they're a whole
yes,
different. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I've always operated on honesty and being genuine, and that's worked well for me. There's been times where I've learned, to say no and to, you know, understand how to operate. But like, you really, it, there's a lot of genuine people out there, and I think that's important to just be good to people.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be treated with the same respect, but you want to give out the respect that you want to be treated with. I've learned that over the years, tenfold. That has always uh, been a guiding light for me, and it's worked out well. So that's what I want. Passion would be my legacy. Be passionate.
Nice. 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 Well, I'll tell you what, good interview. Well, I tell you would act like you've done this a couple of times.
Yeah, I like it. I could do another hour, to be honest. So
Yeah, I know, right? The camaraderie was good too. Like we get along real well too, right? Sometimes I have to sit here and really kind of just be like, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's other times where, like with you, I'm able to just laugh, joke, and
good.
and
Yeah,
remember
good, man.
things, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, so I'm and if you stay on the line for a few seconds after I end this, we'll go ahead and carry on a few conversations real quick.
Yeah, got it.
To all the listeners out there, man, NBA 2K TV, man, you can find it on Twitters and social medias and whatnot, man. But ultimately, just remember that there is a platform out there that is trying to teach your kids to do better, rather than just filling their head with a bunch of nonsense and dumb gameplay, right? NBA 2K and NBA 2K TV is actually trying to uplift and promote the right kind of message. And so they back the right kind of people and the right kind of ideas. And so, from myself and from other people who play it, man, it's an honor to be associated with not only NBA 2K TV, but you, Mr. Manning, because, this is kind of a brainchild of yours. I know a lot of people say, well, it's a good team and you've got a good team. And I know you yourself, you're like, yes, the good team. And don't get me wrong, I love the people that I consider my team and everything. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we got to remember that we chose to go down this path. You chose to take this direction. You chose this. And so you need to be also commended along with your team, for the perseverance, the passion, the dedication, the ability to adjust with the changes and make decisions on the fly and say, I'm not going to let this stop us. We are going to do this. This is how it's going to come across. And you know what, man? I really think a lot of people can learn from what you've done. And that right there in a nutshell is about everything, because if you analyze what you have done, then you see a person who is taking negativity and turning it into positivity. You're taking the situations of the world, such as COVID, such as racism, such as politics, and you're turning them into powerful, positive messages. And that, my friend, that's where it's at, brother. That's where it's at.
Appreciate you, man. My pleasure, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, man, for sure, definitely, anytime. We definitely got to do this again. All right, man. Let me go ahead and end this, and we'll carry on with your conversation real quick.